Today is December 31st, 2025. As we stand at the close of another year, it is a natural time for reflection on what we have built and where we are headed. This guide is not about getting rich quickly. It is about building wealth that lasts. The kind of wealth that grants you not just money, but the power to control your time and the freedom to live on your own terms. It offers a calm, practical approach to financial independence. We are here to construct a system because one-time windfalls lottery wins are fleeting stories of chance. Sustainable wealth, however, is a story of design, discipline, deliberation. It is a system you can learn, a process you can repeat, and a framework you can rely on when emotions run high. The central truth we begin with is this: money alone is not a plan. A bank account full of cash is a resource, but it is not a strategy for the future. Wealth is the system that governs that resource. A system is nothing more than a set of well-defined rules that guide your actions, making good decisions the default and preventing the bad ones. These rules are designed to remove the daily stress of financial choice, replacing anxiety with a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are on the right path. This is not a pep talk filled with vague encouragement. It is a blueprint for an engine, one that you will build piece by piece, day by day, until it runs on its own. The goal is to engineer a financial life where positive outcomes are not just possible, but probable. The first law is the foundation upon which all others are built. Wealth is a system, not an event. A sudden inheritance, a winning stock pick, a successful business exit. Big wins fade if there is no system to manage, preserve, and grow them. The principle here is that the process is more important than the outcome of any single event. Shift your focus from chasing singular victories to building a reliable machine. Make your rules before you need them. Track the steps of your process rather than just the wins. Automate as many financial decisions as possible. For investing, write down your asset allocation. Set firm rebalancing dates. Use a checklist before any trade. In business, create standard operating procedures before you scale. Build repeatable revenue systems. Use a predictable sales funnel. For digital assets, cap your total allocation. Establish clear rules for cold storage. Establish rules for taking profits before you buy. The second law addresses how wealth grows. Income is linear, wealth is exponential. Visual small sapling growing next to a large mature oak tree. Trading your time for a salary is a necessary starting point for most, but it is a path with a natural ceiling. There are only so many hours in a day. True wealth is created when your assets or creations begin working for you. Break the link between your time and your earnings. Constantly look for opportunities to gain ownership. Find ways to turn your effort into equity. Trade some working hours to build products or systems that can sell while you sleep. Favor assets that can grow on their own, like stocks and innovative companies. Don't just chase high-yield bonds. You want to hold equity. The third law is the engine of wealth creation. Ownership is the prime mover. Being paid only for your direct labor is renting out your time. Own a business, own a property, own a patent, own a brand. Ownership lets you benefit from the work of others. Ownership lets you benefit from the power of technology. Ownership lets you benefit from the scale of the market. Owning part of a valuable asset will beat being paid a simple fee over the long run. Ask yourself, what do I truly own? Convert your skills into products you can sell. Protect the intellectual property you create. Prefer equity funds or individual shares over investments that only promise a fixed dividend. Back founder-led companies where incentives align with shareholders. In business, own your audience through an email list or community. Own your intellectual property. Own your content distribution platforms as much as possible. In crypto, practice self-custody of your keys. Think like a protocol owner, not a temporary speculator. These first three laws work in concert. You build a system, Law 1. That system helps you acquire assets that grow exponentially, Law 2. The most powerful of these assets are the ones you own, Law 3. Without a system, wealth is accidental. Without a focus on exponential growth, wealth is capped. And without ownership, you are forever working for someone else's system. This initial trio establishes the mindset and structural foundation to move from earning a living to building a fortune. They are the essential gears in the machine, setting the stage for patience, risk management, and emotional control. Mastering them is the first, most critical step on the path to financial freedom. The fourth law requires a trait that is scarce in our fast-paced world. Compounding requires stillness. The magic of compounding, where your returns begin to generate their own returns, is the most powerful force in finance. However, its fuel is time, and its enemy is interruption. Active tinkering, constant strategy changes, and chasing the latest hot trend are the surest ways to cut this powerful growth short. The principle is simple. Let your assets do their work undisturbed. Learn to wait patiently. Resist the urge to change your mind too often. Develop the discipline to let time perform its function. In investing, practice a low-turnover portfolio. Commit to holding for the long term. Rebalance only at predetermined intervals, not in response to market noise. In business, allow products and strategies to mature before pivoting. Resist the temptation of constant reinvention. For digital assets, hold your high-conviction positions through market cycles. Avoid the gambler's impulse to overtrade. The sixth law brings us back to daily life. Cash flow is oxygen. Assets that appreciate but do not generate cash can look great on a spreadsheet, but make it hard to pay your bills. A portfolio full of illiquid, non-income producing assets can make you paper rich, but cash poor. That can force you to sell assets at inopportune times. A steady stream of incoming cash provides the stability and flexibility to weather storms and seize opportunities. Meticulously track your monthly cash flow. Ruthlessly cut wasteful spending. Actively build multiple sources of steady income. When investing, strike a balance between growth and income. Dividend-paying stocks. High-growth tech shares. In business, create subscription models. Use service retainers. Build products that encourage repeat purchases. With digital assets, generate yield through staking or lending only on trusted, audited platforms. And do so with a small, carefully managed portion of your holdings. Together, these three laws form a powerful triad for long-term endurance. Allow your core assets to compound in peace. Law 4. Rigorously protect yourself from any single event that could cause ruin. Law 5. Ensure you have enough cash flow so you're never forced into a desperate sale. Law 6. This combination creates a resilient and anti-fragile financial structure. It is a structure that grows over time and is fortified against inevitable shocks and downturns. It is the boring but effective strategy of the tortoise, who ultimately outpaces the reckless hare. The seventh law is about a powerful but double-edged sword. Leverage multiplies identity. Leverage can come from debt. Leverage can come from code. Leverage can come from media. Leverage can come from other people's labor. It magnifies who you are, what you know, and how you behave. If you are disciplined, if you are knowledgeable, if you are patient, leverage accelerates extraordinary wealth creation. If you are impulsive, if you are ignorant, if you are greedy, leverage accelerates ruin. Leverage makes strengths bigger and faults worse. Behaviors, master a skill first. Behaviors, avoid significant debt early. Behaviors, use leverage to scale what you deeply understand. In investing, avoid margin loans early. Use borrowed money with extreme caution. In business, build assets like code. In business, build assets like media. In business, build assets like robust systems. Use debt to scale only after product market fit. For crypto, avoid margin trading. Prefer spot positions. The eighth law, time is the ultimate advantage. In a world obsessed with speed, in a world obsessed with shortcuts, in a world obsessed with overnight success, patience is the competitive edge. Most gains do not come from being the fastest. Most gains do not come from being the busiest. Most gains come from being the most consistent over the longest period. Principle: Patience beats speed. Behaviors. Think in decades. Behaviors. Delay small rewards for larger future gains. Behaviors. Save and invest consistently. For investments, build long-term theses. Ignore daily market noise. In business, build brand and reputation over years. For digital assets, be early on foundational infrastructure and hold a full cycle or longer, an old, weathered hourglass with sand steadily flowing. Patience pays. The ninth law, emotion is the hidden tax. Fear, greed. They make investors buy at the top. Euphoria. They make investors sell at the bottom. Panic. That behavior creates a gap between performance and actual returns. That gap is the tax you pay for letting feelings drive decisions. Principle: unchecked feelings reduce returns. Build systems that run regardless of mood. Key behavior: make rules for buying and selling before entering. Key behavior: keep an emotion log to identify triggers. Key behavior: use alerts or checklists to force a pause. Investing rules: no panic selling. Investing rules: automate purchases with dollar cost averaging. Business: let data guide strategy. Business, not ego. Crypto: ignore hype cycles. Crypto: trade only by your pre-written plan. This section highlights the deeply human challenges of building wealth. Learn to handle leverage with wisdom. It can build or destroy. Embrace time. Choose the long view over quick fixes. Build a fortress of logic and rules to protect portfolios from emotional impulses. Failing to master these internal elements is like a magnificent ship with a flawed compass and an undisciplined crew. Such a ship is destined to crash. True financial engineering is as much about managing yourself as managing your money. The 10th law acknowledges the powerful influence of our surroundings. Environment programs. Wealth. The people you associate with. The information you consume. The conversations you engage in. If your environment is filled with cynicism, short-term thinking, and get-rich-quick schemes, it will be incredibly difficult to maintain discipline for long-term success. The principle is that your circle and your information diet directly shape your financial future. Consciously curate your information sources. Actively avoid circles of constant negative financial talk. Join communities or masterminds of people who lift you up and share long-term goals. For investing, follow thoughtful, long-term thinkers. Read high-quality, data-driven sources instead of sensationalist headlines. In business, join industry masterminds. Build a strong professional network. Find mentors who have already achieved what you aspire to. In the crypto space, stay away from tribalistic echo chambers that hype their own bags and attack others. The 11th law is about embracing uncertainty. Optionality beats prediction. The future is unknowable. No one can consistently predict the next big winner. Optionality is the right, but not the obligation, to take a future action. You don't need to be right all the time. You need exposure to potential upside. Make many small, asymmetric bets. Keep the downside limited. Capture the potential upside. Experiment constantly. Learn quickly from small failures. Remain flexible. In investing, keep a core of safe, stable assets. Surround that core with many small bets on speculative but promising ideas. In business, test many product angles, different marketing messages, and distribution channels to see what gains traction. The 12th law is the counterbalance. Focus creates escape velocity. True breakthrough success rarely comes from being spread thin. Depth and mastery create outsized results. Pick one primary wealth-building vehicle: your business, your real estate portfolio, your career. Give it your primary focus. Learn to say no to distracting new opportunities. In investing, develop a core thesis and stick with it. In business, a single, well-honed flagship offer beats a dozen unfocused products. For digital assets, hold a few high-conviction assets you understand deeply. Don't hold a scattered portfolio of 100 different coins. These 3 laws, environment, optionality, and focus describe a delicate dance. Curate your external inputs to maintain a healthy mindset. From that base, place many small bets to create future opportunities. When one bet shows real potential, have the courage and discipline to double down. Curate, explore, then double down. Balance diversification of opportunity with concentration of effort. This is how you navigate an uncertain world while still making meaningful progress. The 13th law delves into your psychological comfort zone. Wealth has a thermostat. Everyone has an internal thermostat for how much success, money, or responsibility they feel comfortable with. When you exceed that level, you may unconsciously engage in self-sabotaging behaviors to bring yourself back down to a familiar state. This is why lottery winners often go broke, and why some entrepreneurs freeze when their business starts to take off. The principle is that you will constantly push against the upper limits of your own comfort. To raise that thermostat, you must train your mind for scale. Practicing calmness as the numbers in your accounts grow, consciously and slowly growing your identity to match your success, raising your prices or asking for more responsibility when you are ready. For investing, staying steady as your portfolio grows from 5 figures to 7 and beyond. Having a plan for how you will manage larger sums without panicking. In business, increase prices without guilt. Focus on the value you provide, not the fear you feel. For crypto, don't panic and sell everything during a massive bull run, and don't do it during a crash either. The 14th law reframes what wealth truly is. Wealth is stored energy. Money and assets are not just numbers on a screen. They are a physical representation of past work, stored ideas, and solved problems. When you save and invest, you are converting your kinetic energy, the work you do today, into potential energy that can be deployed in the future. This stored energy can buy you time, freedom, and opportunities that would otherwise be unavailable. Assets are containers for your past efforts. Turn your income into assets consistently. Build libraries of your work. Articles, code designs. Repurpose old content or ideas into new formats. In investing, prioritize productive assets that generate cash flow or appreciate. Avoid useless holdings that drain your energy. In business, create intellectual property with a long shelf life. Build repeatable systems you can reuse without reinventing the wheel. In crypto, own a piece of a protocol with long-term utility, not just a token fueled by short-term speculative hype. The 15th law addresses the most common leak in the wealth-building machine. Lifestyle is the silent killer. As your income grows, the temptation to upgrade your lifestyle grows with it. Bigger house, fancier car, more expensive vacations. Every permanent increase in your fixed expenses is a direct reduction in your freedom. It raises the cash flow you need to break even, increasing pressure and reducing your savings rate. Large, fixed expenses are the enemy of financial independence. Countermeasures: fix your core lifestyle costs and only let them creep up slowly and intentionally. Automate your savings so the money is gone before you can spend it. Consciously live below your means. In investing, pay yourself first. Invest a set percentage before discretionary spending. In business, maintain founder discipline. Keep the company lean. Avoid lavish corporate spending. In crypto, never fund your lifestyle directly from core holdings without a clear plan. This trio of laws focuses on the internal management of your financial self. The 16th law is about creating value that cannot be easily replicated. Scarcity creates power. In any market, abundance drives prices down while scarcity drives them up. This applies not only to assets but also to skills, knowledge, and reputation. The most durable forms of wealth are built on a foundation of something that is rare and valuable. This could be a unique combination of skills, a brand with a powerful moat, or an asset with a verifiably limited supply. The principle is that rare and useful things command outsized rewards. Behaviors include stacking complementary skills to become a specialist in a niche, actively working to create a unique personal brand, and protecting your hard-to-copy work. In investing, favor companies with strong competitive moats, like network effects or intellectual property, and avoid commoditized industries and fad trends. In business, master your market positioning and develop a unique selling proposition competitors cannot easily duplicate. In crypto, seek out assets with provable scarcity and genuine utility. The 17th law ensures your journey is sustainable. Wealth rewards alignment. Building wealth is a long-term game, and it is nearly impossible to stick with a strategy that feels wrong, unethical, or misaligned with your core identity. Money built on misfit goals or activities you despise will eventually break down, either because you burn out or because your heart is not in it. The principle: your financial strategy must be in harmony with your values and personality. Behaviors: choose work you can see yourself doing for a decade or more, set goals that genuinely matter to you beyond the money, match investments to your personal values and risk tolerance. In investing, use your conviction as a guide and skip investments you do not understand or believe in. In business, build something you are proud of and want to be associated with for years. For digital assets, truly understand what you own and why it aligns with your vision of the future. The 18th and final law defines the ultimate prize. Wealth is optionality plus peace. The end goal is not a specific bank number, not luxury goods or status. The true purpose of wealth is to buy back your time and create a life of choice and tranquility. It is the ability to say no to things you don't want to do, and yes to things you do. It is freedom from urgency and the quiet confidence you can handle whatever comes next. Principle: real wealth buys choice and calm. Behaviors: avoid a life of constant urgency, guard your peace of mind as your most valuable asset, and have clear exit plans for your investments and business ventures. For investing, keep enough liquidity to feel secure and maintain buffers that give you choices during downturns. In business, build a company that can run without you. For digital assets, preserve your self-sovereignty and have plans for good days and bad. This entire system is a journey toward an end state defined by structure, identity, and time. When your financial structure is sound, your identity is aligned with your goals, and you give the process enough time, wealth becomes an almost inevitable byproduct. Stress falls away, choice expands, freedom becomes your reality. To begin, read these laws and pick just 3 to focus on. Create one simple automated rule for each. Follow it for 90 days, then repeat the process. Wealth grows from these steady, simple, and repeatable habits. Daily checklist: did I follow the one rule I set for myself today? Did I track my process, not just the outcome? Is my cash flow positive for the month? Did I add to my assets, even a small amount? Did I avoid making a significant financial decision based on emotion?